How's it going, Jets fans? My name is Alex with my co-host here, Ryan Moran. Today we're looking at Carl Lawson, a great day to look at the Jets pass rusher who had a torn ACL last year. Missed the whole season his first year with the Jets. And, I think he can be a significant impact player for this team. I think most people would agree with that, including Ryan. We want to take a look at what his qualities are, how he's going to kind of transform this Jets defense into a far more potent unit, especially from a pass rush perspective. Last year, John Franklin Myers stepped up. Quentin Williams had a solid campaign. Bryce Huff, off the edge, some decent guys, but now you got Jermaine Johnson in the mix. You got Carl Lawson coming back from injury. This entire pass rush is about to change significantly, which in turn helps the secondary because it puts more pressure on opposing quarterbacks to get the ball out quicker. And your secondary doesn't have to do as much work at the end of the day. So I'm excited to talk about Carl Lawson. We'll take a look at some of his clips, Ryan. Before we do, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, Alex. I appreciate it. With Carl Lawson, obviously, it was thrilling when the Jets signed him in March of 2021 there in free agency to that big 3-year contract. I mean, for the longest time, the Jets lacked a true dominant edge pass rusher with some speed who could just really be a difference maker on third downs. And it took a lot out of the fan base, took a lot out of the Jets team. When he got hurt, the Jets had struggled with the big-time free agency contracts they'd given out, and it finally looked like that came to an end with Lawson last summer in training camp. All the buzz you heard was just how dominant this guy was every single day, like constantly wreaking havoc. The offense couldn't get anything accomplished. They had no time. And for him to just have that Achilles injury there in Green Bay during those practices took a lot out of the team, and his presence was sorely missed throughout the regular season last year. You think back to some of the third downs they really just could have used him on, and that was really tough last year. But look, he's still only 27 years old now. He fits this scheme perfectly, which we're going to get into, and he's going to make an impact for the Jets this year, no doubt in my mind.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind either. You look back at the 2020 season with the Cincinnati Bengals, played in 723 total snaps. So he's never played. He's only played over really 460 snaps once in his career, 480 snaps rather. But he was a very, very good pass rusher in 2020. Picked up 6 sacks, 24 quarterback hits, 34 hurries, 22 tackles. He didn't miss many tackles. He had 20 stops. Overall, he was a pretty solid player. Who can make a significant impact. And he's a guy with even better coaching could get exponentially better. Have Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich, helping this guy. He definitely has the capabilities to be a phenomenal defender on this Jets team. And, he had a couple of standout performances back in 2020, notably with against the Houston Texans. He had a 92.4 overall pass rush grade in that game, 9 total tackles, a sack, 5 quarterback hits, 3 hurries. He has those games where he just goes absolutely off the wall nuts and is elite essentially. He does have games where he kind of disappears, and he kind of grows into the season as it progresses. But as a rookie, he really had his best season in terms of production and statistics. He had 10 sacks with 11 QB hits, 38 hurries. His quarterback hits kind of increased as the years went by, and including his hurries. But sack wise, had the most during his rookie season back in 2017. But I do think that Carl Lawson paired now, you got Jermaine Johnson maybe on the other side competing. How do you think Carl Lawson makes this biggest impact? Of course, you kind of have to run like a 4-3, so you have that defensive end position, not the outside linebacker. So you're not going to be seeing Carl Lawson drop into coverage as you would see for some other teams. But he's a guy that consists of a lot of power. Is that really how you see him kind of making his impact on the game? Is just using that power? Or do you think like maybe he has some unfinished business, or rather some qualities that could be developed even further?
For sure. So I think the first thing, obviously, I spoke on just the natural scheme fit in the wide 9 front that Saleh and Ulbrich run, and similar Jermaine Johnson, Jacob Martin. A lot of these guys that they brought in these last 2 off seasons have a lot of those attributes where it's just getting right up the field, pinning your ears back and going. And I think that's Carl Lawson's game to a T. You talk about a guy with low build to the ground, kind of like Jacob Martin as well. These guys are 6'1", 6'2", and they use that natural leverage to their advantage. They got that natural bend turning the corner. They have that initial get off, that first step speed. And I think that's where you're really going to see Carl initially make an impact. And really then from there, this is a guy we're going to see in some of the clips, a ton of pass rush moves in his arsenal that he can win with. He's sound technically. He knows how to win. He knows how to rush with the plan. And I think ultimately what you're just looking for from him is, third downs, 2-minute situations, late in games. You just want those impact sacks as much as anything. And, another thing, in 2020, he had 64 total pressures, which is ridiculous. You can say that the sacks maybe didn't show up. I think he had like 5 or 5.5, but to average about 4 pressures a game like he did there in 2020 to me is something that just really jumps out and shows you that, it doesn't always show up in sacks, but this guy can really make an impact felt on a game. And I think, just the natural fit in the scheme, pinning your ears back and going, penetrating, one gapping up the field. And he's got that speed and just that power to really make a big difference.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some of his clips and kind of what he's bringing to this Jets team. Obviously, we didn't get to see him last year, but he is a very, very talented player who can do a lot of great things. But let's take a look at some of his clips from the 2020 season. All right, so right off the bat, you're going to see him on the outside, playing that right defensive end position. I mean, he just one arms and lifts an offensive tackle off the ground. I mean, that's absurd. Like, there's not many guys with the power. That offensive tackle's got to be what, 280, maybe probably more, 300 pounds.
Probably 300 at least.
300 at least. So watch what I mean, right here, he's off the ground, bro. He has one arm on him and he's lifted this. This is a perfect point to actually pause this because he's elevated this man. This is sorcery right here. The kind of power and lower body power you have to lift a 300-pound man off the ground with one arm honestly, this shouldn't be possible, and then he just completely turns him around. He just moves him. The guy's a force of nature. How does that make you feel seeing that? And the Jets are getting that type of power.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's able to get to that long arm there with his inside. And like you said, just the power he's able to generate, and some of that natural leverage with his low build. I mean, the left tackle really can't get his hands on him, and he's really fast, man. He's got that bend on the corner.
He does. And my favorite thing is, he doesn't even have to slow down to do this. He's going full speed the whole time. Look at this. He doesn't even slow down. He actually gets quicker as he lifts him off the ground. He's just using that chop. If you look, offensive tackles, get your hands on him. There's still no way you're stopping this guy. I mean, right here, you could say this is a good rep from the offensive tackle. He still got his hands. The chop didn't work. Carl Lawson tries to chop those hands down. It doesn't work. He still got his hands on him, and he just runs through them anyway.
Yeah, you see some of that strength just rip through with, obviously, you said the chop that he attempted, and then to really just rip through with that inside arm. He takes a great angle on his corner to the quarterback.
Yeah, the angle too. Very, very good point there. Andy Dalton did not want that. Let's see here. So one thing that I'm noticing is he really likes to use that long arm approach. He loves to use that low center of gravity, get that arm extended up through the chest. Right there, bam, he lifts. He's lifting 300-pound people off the ground. This guy is currently elevated, like Obi-Wan Kenobi episode, and Darth Vader's dragging him through the fire. He spins him all the way around.
Jason Peters.
Jason Peters of all players too. Look at this. He literally long arms him up through his chest, spins him, and then destroys Jalen Hurts. That's impressive, man. You don't see that very often. It's very nice. All right. Let's see here. He's like a bulldog. He just doesn't stop.
You see some of that just shoulder dip there as well. He can definitely, at 6'1", he's under 6'2", using that just natural lower to the ground build to his advantage, turning the corner.
Yeah, man. He evades the chip right there. And that left tackle did not want the smoke. He's just running right around him. He's just quick, man. He's so quick. He's like a bulldog or a little piranha. Nice. That long arm, again, you see it. The long arm is his favorite move, based on these clips at least. Extends. Look how much separation he creates for himself here. Really long arms. If you're an offensive tackle, you can't, that arm is extremely powerful, and you can't even latch on. You can't even get to his chest plate. So, and then he almost recovers, right? The tackle almost, I think it's Jedrick Wills. You see, he almost recovers here. He squares up right here, but then watch this little sidestep move. Bam, inside, get to Baker. He's really freaking quick and strong, man. If he's at the top of his game, this Jets defense is going to be very low key good.
Oh,
and then you got Sauce and DJ Reed on this team now too. Very low key. I think this defense could be a top 10 defense if they play at the top of their capabilities this year.
Anything, obviously they were 32nd in yards per game allowed last year. if they can jump up into the top 20, I think it's really great progress. And having Carl Lawson with all those pieces, Sauce, DJ Reed, Jermaine Johnson, Jordan Whitehead, he's basically like another addition without having played a game for the Jets yet himself. So,
yeah, it's damn impressive. It's damn impressive, guys. But love to hear your thoughts on Carl Lawson below in the comment section. What you think he's going to be able to accomplish this year coming off injury, what your expectations are. This team, as we can see, has a lot of talent, ton of talent. It's just a matter of getting the most out of them and extrapolating on their strengths. So it should be fun to watch what the coaching staff can do. And Carl Lawson obviously is an extremely talented player. He's extremely strong. He's fast. He has great leverage, great center of gravity. Now it's just about making sure the comeback is perfected and he can really come back 100% and make an impact on this team, guys. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe on the Fireside Jets channel, rather, if you are enjoying the content lately, and all the constant updates, and obviously training camp coming up, a lot more to come. So tune in and make sure to follow along with our progress and help develop this awesome community that we are building. So thank you so much for that. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.